Hi, friends. How are you? This is Sunday, the 29th of November, 2020, and I'm online. Yes, it's kind of hot in here and cold outside, so my cheeks are burning red. And what we're seeing now is that nothing has changed yet, but everything is changing. I've placed a sequence of links on this Facebook page to show that the questions about the illegality of the process of counting votes is being manifest, just how deep and how long that process has been going on. The testimony from the Philippines from a couple of years ago shows that the Smartmatic voting machines are accused of, destroying the chances of conservative candidates in the Philippines a couple years ago. We're looking at the failure of the FBI to enforce its own rules and laws about corruption. We're looking at the mathematical statistics relative to this 2020 election that show mathematical impossibilities for the outcome. Mr. Trump gained so many more. Here, let me talk about this specifically. Biden supposedly won election winning only 17% of counties in the USSA, but Donald Trump won 83% of the counties and lost. Trump gained 11 million more votes than when he won in 2016, and he lost. He had most votes of any sitting president in history, and he lost. Most votes of any GOP in history, and he lost. Okay, all of this is illogical. It doesn't make sense. And the battleground states are where the Smartmatic and Dominion software was able to overturn and flip the majority of the votes. There's also the problem of the counterfeit ballots, between 5 and 10 million of them that got sent in by disaffected people who were non-registered voters. All right. So this election is getting turned around, much to the shame and chagrin of the entire liberal community. All right. What this says is that revelation in the Bible is true, that we are in fact facing a reset, an Armageddon, a turnover in the leadership of the Judeo-Christian civilization. And unlike past resets that simply wiped out the people, wiped out the working people, and allowed the elites to run to the mountains or go underground or go off world, in this reset, the people are standing up and saying, no, corrupted leadership is not okay. No, overturning the holy laws in scripture and common laws of the land and replacing them with mercenary corporate statutes that allow treachery, censorship, protection rackets, divide and conquer media. Those practices of leading elites and intellectuals and rich people simply cannot be permitted or allowed. And so the reset, the Armageddon that we are looking at, is one that's being conducted by the people who do not consent to the evil of the Illuminati population reduction process, who do not consent to the use of labor as consumable objects to be controlled by corporate oligarchs, to the arbitrary and complete destruction of human communities by corporate vulture capitalism, by the use of the quote healing professions as disease management companies profiteering on the weakness of the people. You see what I'm saying? All right. We, the people, are doing the Armageddon this time. It's our turn to say to the leadership of the Western world, no, no more. No more of this corruption. No more of your rigged elections. No more of your deep state treachery. We're not having it. And I saw Michael Salla come forward and explain how Henry Kissinger has been at the very core of the top-down oligarchy's treachery going back to the 1950s. Kissinger has been at the very core of the Majestic 12 alliance with the Dracos to keep this world operating as a prison planet. I was glad to see Dr. Salla do that. So it's all coming forward. And we, the people, this time are overturning what God is not going to have to overturn this time. It's our turn to say, no, thank you, you head-tripping academics that teach destruction as the purpose of civil protest. Let's repair the house by tearing it down and burning it down, and saying no to the teachers' unions that teach the same criminal processes of civil destruction, and they call it their progressivism, all right? And to the doctors and nurses who use the political doctrines of a false pandemic to lord over the people's lives and say nothing about it. Do you hear, how many doctors do you hear who are objecting to the use of vaccines to subjugate and injure and harm innocent people? Not nearly enough. So we, the people, are speaking out, and I'm proud to see it. I'm glad to see finally that the radical left is meeting its day of reckoning. Good for all of you. I love you. Bye-bye.